We're back out here at the Merchants Building at the 2012 Logan County Fair. You're in the cheap seats. Josh Komnick along with Justin Tierney. And we just had a special young lady stop by, the busiest young lady at the 2012 Logan County Fair after she was crowned Miss Logan County. Miss Dani Juilfs, thanks for having us.
No problem, yeah.
What brought you out here this early? I know the cheap seats, you had to get on here today, but where are you doing? What else are you doing?
I have been in the barn since 7:45 this morning.
A little warm?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yes. It's definitely warming up out there.
It is. It's going to be a steamy one, and we were talking just off air a couple minutes ago that you have to... not have to, but your duties are requested out here all day today.
Oh, yeah. Mostly this week I've gotten to go home during the afternoon and kind of rest, take my nap, and come back for the evening events. But today we have our talent show at 2 and our harness racing's at 12.
Nice. So a lot of things going on. You've got the chili cook-off. I'm sure you get to taste test a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And
if I can fit it in.
Yeah, there you go.
Definitely.
And after crowned, give us the emotion, the feeling of what... you've worked on to get to this point.
Oh my gosh, I just cried. I had to prepare my speech, of course, went through questions, just covered anything and everything from agriculture to just duties of queen, and I felt really prepared and strangely just calm throughout the whole pageant. But it was a big surprise after crowning because my brother lives in Columbia, Missouri, and he wasn't supposed to come for the pageant, and he showed up at last minute, and it was just a huge shock for all of my family.
Cool, and there's a lot of things going on for you, of course, this week. You've got a lot of duties really throughout probably the whole year, I'm assuming.
Yep.
And give us your background, where you went to high school, what you're doing now, parents, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, my parents' names are Mark and Becky Juilfs. I am originally from Lincoln. I graduated in 2011 from Lincoln High School. I did a year over at Parkland in Champaign, and I will be a sophomore at ISU in the fall, here in a couple weeks.
Sure, yeah, soon.
And I'm majoring in public relations and communications.
Well, that's perfect. You're right. You
right up my alley. Yes, this will be great experience and practice.
Perfect.
Yeah.
The whole thing will be, and you've got, as you said, a lot of duties just today, tomorrow, but give us a couple of events and maybe some things that you know of right now that you're going to have to do or going to be doing for the rest of your queen.
Well, I haven't got the full list of events for the year yet, but I know the Balloon Festival will be coming up soon. I have the State Fair next week where all the county queens come for the day and we all get to meet each other, and especially Pat Quinn. Mm-hmm. So that'll be exciting. Compare the competition for January.
There you go.
And just Christmas parades, but as for right now, I haven't gotten the list yet.
Yet. It's going to be lengthy.
Yes, it will be lengthy, but I'm excited. I'm ready for it.
Sure, and mixing that in with schoolwork and all that kind of stuff will definitely be a busy year for you.
It's definitely good that I'll be in Normal. I'll be in Bloomington because it'll be a quick drive, but I'll be able to catch all the events.
Sure. Well, Dani, we want to thank you for stopping by. We know you got to get back to the barns, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
it's fun.
Yeah, it is, and a lot of things going on down there. A lot of things going on at the 2012 Logan County Fair. We want to say, congratulations to you from 96.3, and we know you'll do Logan County well.
Thank you so much.
That's it. Dani Juilfs, and she's got a number of duties yet to get back for, so she's headed back to do all of those kind of things. We're going to take another quick commercial break here, and we'll be back at the 2012 Logan County Fair in the Merchants Building, 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com. 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com. Josh Komnick along with Justin Tierney. We're out at the Merchants Building, 2012 Logan County Fair. We just got done talking with Miss Fair Queen Dani Juilfs, and we've talked Olympics, baseball. Now we've got a little Illini news, as I'm I guess you would call it an Illini recruiting junkie.
Sure, yeah.
I love it. Some things came up, and Jake and I talked about this last week, Justin, and I'm sure you've heard. The Illini football up and coming here in the next, actually I think tomorrow they start training at in Rantoul. But the Illini coaches, 8 of them actually went over to Penn State. Of course, everybody knows about the speculation, all the things that have happened over at Penn State. Well, their players were able to transfer to wherever they wanted, whenever they wanted, and could play right away. Well, the Illini took 8 coaches and went to State College, which I was not a fan of them doing this, but it did work. It did work because the Illini actually got a commitment coming. Well, he's actually from Arizona. He went to Penn State. He redshirted last year. He's a 6'5", 280-pound offensive lineman, and he will be at Illinois. His name is Ryan Nowicki. He will transfer to Illinois. He might already be there. So the tactic worked. I don't know if you want to call it ethical or something that I liked happen, but it did work.
I think the whole thing that I read was that the Illinois coaches were like in the parking lot, decked out in Illinois gear. Like, that's just stupid. Like,
it's asking for trouble.
Yeah, I mean, they could have been a little bit more strategic, maybe a little bit more, used a little more tact than just showing up. And I don't so much have a problem with them recruiting Penn State players. It's college football. It's competitive. You want to have the best team on the field. And you get the best players, so I get why you would recruit them. Just everybody else in the country is recruiting them. But you can't just show up in Illinois gear and, have ESPN and everybody know that Illinois is there. The guy who's calling them out the most is Dick Vitale. Dick Vitale's been all over Twitter, calling out Illinois for, being, like you said, ethically challenged, recruiting players so brazenly. And recruiting within your own conference is a big deal too.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with them recruiting the Penn State players. I have a problem with them going from Champaign to State College to do it. Now, if this young man wants to come to Illinois, come to Champaign and check it out. Or talk to us about it at our place. Don't travel. I mean, that's just going to lead for a nightmare the next time we have to go to Happy Valley to a game, and it will not be pretty. I think it's this young man becomes the 8th Nittany Lion to transfer. One went to USC, which was their main man, the running back from Penn State. So Ryan Nowicki, and what I've heard, and I've got a buddy that's another Illini recruiting junkie, he says what he's read, this kid could start right away as a freshman. He's got 4 years of eligibility left.
I think he was the number 60 tackle ranked in his class when he graduated, and obviously he redshirted a year, so he's got 4 years of eligibility. I mean, it's a good sign for Illinois. It's a good. He'll be a contributor.
Yeah, he's been. He actually chose Illinois over Arizona State and Washington, so he had a chance to go back to Arizona. But there was something about Coach Beckman and the staff in Illinois that he did enjoy and did like. So I love that we got another guy, but I didn't necessarily like the way we got it. Also, Coach Beckman generally in the past. The preseason camp has lasted 2 weeks. I've been reading now that Coach Beckman has cut it to 1. And at Rantoul, that's all public.
Yep.
Totally open to the public. You can go there and watch and listen and do all that kind of stuff.
The second week, they're bringing them back to Champaign, and that's not open to the public.
That's not to the public. Right. So one more thing I think I kind of like it because, hey, let's get down to business. I think when the public is there, he's got to be a little less nasty maybe to say, hey, is this the guy? He's first year. He can get him back to Champaign a week earlier and start really, really getting after him and not have to be in front of the public eye. So I kind of like the change. The recruiting is going well for the Illini in the next couple of years that I've been reading. He's hitting the trail hard. Will we be very good this year? Offensively, we're going to be pretty challenged, I think. Our receivers are really short. Mm-hmm. Defense, we could have a chance to have a pretty good defense, but, again, the Big Ten is going to be very strong. You add Nebraska, Wisconsin, Michigan's picked to win the Big Ten, Ohio State. It's going to be a tough year.
I just don't know if we have, the Denard Robinson or that one guy on offense that is a breakout star, a guy that you can put the ball in his hands and there's a chance for 6. Donovan Young is going to be a sophomore running back. He had some big games last year. Obviously Shieldhaas and Riley O'Toole have both had flashes of being pretty good quarterbacks. But like you said, I think offensively it's going to be a struggle. And, the Big Ten defensively, it's a struggle every night, even if they're a good defense. If you can't score 21 points, it's going to be hard to win games.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. Of course, baseball for me is over with, but football is coming up, and that's one of the sports I like to watch just about as much as any of them. Getting back to that Penn State thing, my friends and I are actually going over to the game against Penn State, so it could be a little rowdy over there when the Nittany Lion faithful come to Champaign about the recruiting.
Yeah, the whole Penn State saga is it's a sad deal. The thing that I've talked to a friend of mine who's in law school and has a lot of connections to Happy Valley. Some people locally might remember Paul Gilmore, and his son Andrew is a good friend of mine, and they're Happy Valley people. And we were talking about just the economic impact of everything that's happening at Penn State. That's going to cost people some jobs over there. When you factor in the loss of ticket prices, athletic revenue, merchandising revenue, enrollment drops. That's a $1 billion scandal over there, I think, and it's a sad deal. And hopefully, I wish their fans the best because I think they're victims in all this against everybody but Illinois. I'm still rooting for my Illini.
When I go over there, I don't hope we beat them by 40 when we go over to the game. When the Penn State and Nittany Lions come to Champaign this year for football. Basketball news, and a kind of a nice thing it's been for basketball Illinois that Coach Weber couldn't recruit. We never could get the big guys from Chicago. Well, one of the big guys from Chicago that's going to be a senior next year, he's included us in his top 5, and that's a guy from Chicago Simeon, Kendrick Nunn. He has announced that Illinois will be in his top 5 along with Marquette, Memphis, UCLA, and Ohio State. Among those schools, I like our chances. If you throw in Kentucky, if you throw in North Carolina, Duke, I don't think our chances are very good. But against this top 5, other than Ohio State, maybe Marquette because Chicago's close to Milwaukee, I like our chances, but it does show me that Coach Gross is out in the public. He's out in Chicago. Wherever the players are, he's out there working to try and get the top players that we can get. And I just hope that we can start getting Chicago players wanting to play for their home state.
I think I still have a heavy dose of skepticism every time I hear Illinois basketball and recruiting, and especially with an elite player like Kendrick Nunn. It's great to be in the top 5. That's great, but I want him in orange and blue. So I'll believe it when I see it. I don't get me wrong out there. I'm hoping he ends up for Illinois, but I'm not going to get too excited about the top 5 until he signs on the dotted line. They did get a thing that kind of went under the radar. They got a big 7-footer from Ohio,
Maverick.
And not a lot of people are talking about it, but hey, there's 7-footers don't grow on trees, so I thought that was a pretty good signing. There's actually a kid, if you're a recruiting junkie, a kid from Bloomington Normal, Kata Bates-Jop is having a huge summer. He's right down the road in Bloomington Normal. Probably going to see the Lincoln Rail Splitters might see him next year in a regional, I'm thinking. And he's getting calls from Kentucky now, Kansas, Florida. I saw called him the other day, and Illinois has been recruiting him for a while. So, that's the guy that locally, I hope we can get involved with him because they say he's 6'8", long-limbed, pretty good athlete, and is just now kind of reaching his potential. Has made great strides.
Yeah, a lot of local talent, as you say, a couple people in the Central State 8 that are Big Ten or Division I material.
Sure.
So basketball, just like football, is right around the corner. You're going to think basketball will be right there too. Yep. So,
and while we're talking about basketball, I got to throw this out there. We're talking about recruiting. Lincoln College brought in a heck of a recruiting class this year. I work at Lincoln College. I'm an admissions counselor there, but there's going to be some good basketball played over at the Lincoln Center this year. We brought in Aaron Simpson, who is number 3 in the state in Mr. Basketball and his first team All-State in just about everybody's polls. So I think talking about basketball and recruiting makes me think of the quality athlete that Lincoln College is bringing in next year.
Sounds good, Justin. Well, thanks for joining us again. It's 10 o'clock, and we've got to step out of the Merchants Building, but the guys will be back here, 6 to 8 tonight, I think, and 1 o'clock for Bob Metz, too. He'll be out here, and then 6 to 8, Jim and Jeff number 2 will be back out here. So the 96.3 team is all over the 2012 Logan County Fair. That's going to do it from the Merchants Building. You're in the Cheap Seats, 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com. We'll see you next week as we will be at Jake's Furnishings, and then the following week, the August the 18th, we are going to be traveling to the Stagger Inn in downtown Emden. again on Saturday, August 18th, to kick off the annual ALS Walk Run. So something that is going to be very important to a lot of people.
Yeah,
I'll be running in
absolutely.
it, so it'll be a fun day. So check us out if you can make it out there. We'll see you guys next week.